See how this feels. 2 weeks ago, these felt like garbage. 1 week ago, they felt great. We're hoping for great. So far, so good. That actually felt better than the warm-up with just the bar. Still feeling pretty good. Last warm up. That's some ASMR weight clanking right there. All these sounds are actually pretty cool, like the belt, the weights, all that stuff. So your belt should be so tight that you don't want to wear it during your rest periods. Keep that in mind. You have to get this thing tight so it can actually do its job. All right, that'll be good for warm-ups. You can tell I have the hooks just a little bit too high, but I'm gonna leave it because I can just tiptoe and I think it'll be fine. Ideally, you wanna be able to walk right in though and not worry about hitting the J hooks. Next up is, so working set 1. 2 weeks ago, I did 145 for a bunch of reps, microcycle 1. Last week, bumped it up 10%. Microcycle 2 peaked at 170 because it was feeling really nice. And then this week, I'm adding another 10%, which gets me to 195. So this is going to be 3 plus. We're going to see how this feels. So far, the warm-ups have been feeling great, and I think it's going to go pretty good today. The tough thing about this Oppen bar squat, it's just like doing a front squat. It shifts the weight forward. It's very quad focused. It allows me to get really deep. You can see how deep I'm going to get with this depth marker. It's maybe like a foot off the ground. And those were quite explosive. I would say that was very explosive. I'm happy with that. The controlled lowering, the explosive positive. Those were nice reps. Could I have done 6? Yes. Did I want to? No. I'm staying away from failure, and I'm conserving my power and speed for the AMRAP. So I just tossed on a little 2.5er. It's time to go 200, because if I get a chance to go up, if it's feeling that quick, those were very explosive. It felt like they were just flying right up. Everything about those reps was quality. So I'm just gonna inch up a little bit, take advantage of a little extra volume. Not a lot, just a little bit. So you can see, I'm really cranking on this belt. That's the last notch I could possibly get into. Gotta have your belt nice and tight. So what I'm gonna think about here is I'm really gonna think about weight on the heels, sitting back, pushing back, trying to keep my chest up, and I put a little bit of forward motion on this bar to keep the weight out in front. I think that's really important too. Make sure to keep it as close to a front squat as I can get it without actually having to have that bar on the front of my delts. One more. All right, 1 and 2 done. So AMRAP coming up. I don't know what's gonna happen here as far as reps, maybe 10. 10 could be really rough though. All I know is 200 is a great weight. So my squats have come up a lot. This is a challenging bar, and I'm more than happy with 200. Even if I hit 6, 7, 8, I'll be pumped about that. That's progress, and I'm just glad they're feeling good. That's 8. I think I'm gonna go for 10. Let's get this. So I know those don't necessarily look that tough. Like I'm still coming up pretty quick on 8, 9, and 10. But I'm feeling it heavily. I'm just feeling the challenge. So that's what I like to do is I shut down the AMRAP set, whether I hit actual failure or some form breakdown. And I think that's getting really close to form breakdown. And I just like to keep it safe, play the long game. So you always got to warm it up no matter what. This is a totally different move than the squat. I'm not squatting anymore. I'm Romanian deadlifting now. So I would never just go into my working weight here, even if it's high rep or medium rep. I still do another set, at least one more set, just to get my CNS in this new exercise groove. And of course, this is nice lightweight. Working weight today is gonna be 255, something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna work up to it. I'm gonna do another warm-up set, of course, because it's a fair amount of weight. That was 145. I don't wanna make a 110-pound jump without a warm-up in between. So it's gonna be low reps to prevent exhaustion, but I'm still gonna prime further. Let's do like 200. Let's do 200. All right, this is that 200-pound warm-up. Like I said, I'm not gonna do a lot of reps. I'm priming, not exhausting, so I'm just gonna hit 3 to 4 here. That feels very light. Those were lightning fast, very quick. It's still totally worth the warm-up though. That's something that you have to do. So next set, we're gonna go 245, first working set, and then we're off from there. 3 by 10. Those were great. Those really felt good. So I'm definitely gonna try 255. We're gonna get it locked in. And we're just gonna finish these deadlifts up strong. Definitely that kind of day. Honestly, the hardest part of these sets is getting this belt on right now. It's rough. Shouldn't have had all those noodles pre-workout. All right, my cameraman is dead silent today. It's just me, myself, and I. Here we go. Again, solid. The difference between a Romanian deadlift and a conventional deadlift is the degree of knee bend and also the degree that the torso folds over. So you're gonna see less knee bend with these and more torso fold versus, say, on day 4 where I do conventional deadlifts. There's a big difference. This is hamstring focused, glute focused, virtually no quads. Up next, we got barbell lunges. So these are a deep deficit barbell reverse lunge. You're gonna see over here where I walk to is that you're gonna see the deficit is deep. I got the platform plus a thick 45-pound plate, and we're going for medium reps. I like that extra range of motion. gives me more glute and more quad range of motion. Those are always tiring. Hey, what's up? How's it going? So I just thought it'd be cool, you know, for the rest of the video I didn't really say much, so I thought it'd be cool if I just watched it along with you. I'll drop in any comments where I feel the need. Obviously, maybe I'll drop some tips, exercise tutorial type tips. But really, I just wanted to be here with you, checking it out, because like I said, once I finished up those Romanian deadlifts and that first set of lunges, I really got quiet. I didn't really say much. I just had to dedicate all my energy to the training session. That's exactly what I did. So we're getting into the second set of lunges here. The thing about this deficit, you know, it can throw you off from time to time. I believe I talked about this in an earlier vlog where you get used to hitting a certain range of motion, a certain depth, and when you add a deficit, even if you add like an extra inch or two, things can get a little bit sketchy at first. And if you noticed on that first set, rep number 16, I really stumbled a little bit. You know, I lost my balance, but what I made sure to do, and what's really important for me to convey here, is that I kept going. You know, I restabilized, rebraced, got my head back in that set, and I kept going. I finished up the set. That's important because the lunges are a set or an exercise where you're going to stumble sometimes. You're going to lose some balance, and it's totally fine. The thing you have to do is you just have to get back into it, make sure you finish up the set to the best of your ability. Yeah, so that's set number 2 in the books. Knocked out. And that's the type of energy level I was having after those Romanian deadlifts and after these sets of lunges were piling up. In between my sets, I honestly just sat there and contemplated life. That's really what I did. All right, set number 3, same thing. I'm really trying to get good depth, and to me that means just taking that nice medium step size. I'm looking at myself, I'm seeing those medium step sizes over and over and over. I'm not going so big that I'm trying to like do the splits or get a really deep stretch at the bottom, but I'm also not taking a tiny step where I'm really forcing my weight forward over my toes more than I want. I just want to replicate a nice deep lunge, you know, pushing my hips back, really making that front leg get into that squat position. I think I just said replicate a deep lunge, but I meant deep squat. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it's important that your step size matches your goal. Because like I said, if you're taking a really small step when you lunge, it really forces you to push your weight forward. It changes the dynamic of things. It does make it a little more quad focused. And if you're stepping really far back, you know, you're going to stretch out your glute. You're going to really increase the range of motion of that glute, I would argue. And you're going to feel your glutes quite a bit more. So I'm doing a mix of the two. It's a medium step size, and right now with that double deficit lunge setup, it really suits me the best. So the workouts, you know, now I'm done with my compounds. The workout's winding down a little bit. No doubt I'm still tired because those 3 compounds today, and those were big. Deep squats with the Oppen bar, that's a tough bar to work with. Romanian deadlifts, I've been working up in the 10 rep range for a while now, so I'm getting up there, sets of 255. It's a lot of volume per set. And then of course those lunges, I lunge twice weekly right now. Every single lunge that I do is in a deficit. Those are tough as well. So now I'm back into isolations. I like isolations. You know, you could argue that this really isn't an isolation. You see me doing cable face pulls right here with the rope attachment. And when I'm doing a move like this, you know, I'm really thinking about just pulling backwards with my elbows, and I'm also trying to keep my hands high. Because when I keep my hands high, I feel like that really accentuates the focus on the rear delts. And if you want to bring in your traps a little bit, here's a little inside tip. What you can do is when you're pulling back, you want to make sure that you try to pull back but also apart a little bit. And to me, that always forces my traps to work a little bit. It forces them to contract and pull my shoulder blades, my scapula together. And so that activates the traps a little bit harder for me. But the main thing you're looking at here is elbows coming back, and you can see I'm trying to pull my hands back, and I'm trying to keep my hands real high. Like I try to think about them staying above my head throughout all the reps. And I've just got a nice grip here, that overhand grip. There's different ways to do this. You know, you could go with like a more neutral grip, and I could go with less bend at the elbow. My hands would be, or my forearms would be more straight up and down. I just find this to feel natural for me. But there definitely are different ways to do face pulls. It's one of the moves that's very versatile. You can use different attachments, and you can perform it in different ways, like I was saying, different variations. This move is all about the upper back though. This is a rear delt traumatizer right here. I'm just gonna say that. When you do it right, you really feel the rear delts. You get that rotation coming back, that rotational pop right there to the best of your ability. And you get that pull apart, you get some of the traps involved. Put your mind on your elbows, put your mind on your hands, staying high. And you're gonna get the most out of your cable roll, or cable face pulls, sorry, not rows, cable face pulls. You're gonna max out the benefits of those cable face pulls with all those tips that I just gave you. All right, 3 sets of those in the books. Now we're gonna come up on 2 sets of hanging leg raises. That's almost gonna finish things up. I did do something after that, which we'll talk about because you're gonna see it. The thing with hanging leg raises, they're great for abs. You know, they're tough to add weight to. That's one of their downsides, but there are different variations that you can do that make it harder to do them. What I like to point out to everybody that does hanging leg raises is the tip that I use to keep the rhythm, because you don't want to get into a swing where it's like you're on a swing set and every rep you do pumps you a little bit farther forward, makes you swing a little bit more. You don't want to do that. So the key is that when you're at the peak of your forward swing and you're just about to come back, your body's about to start swinging backwards, that's when you want to pull up your knees. And you're going to see me do that, like right there. See, now I'm starting to come back, so I pull. Starting to come back, so I pull. And that keeps me right in that nice rhythm, and it allows me to not think about swinging too much. I can just zone in on the ab work, because that's what these are all about. And I try to pull nice and high, like knees to chest or nipple level. I think that's great. It's a basic movement. If you do it for enough reps, you're going to feel the abs. You can bend your knees or straighten your knees more or less to make it harder. Okay, so those are my 2 sets. I did 3. I only cared to show footage of 2 though, really. And this is the last thing I did. So this is the very end of a triple drop set with leg extensions. What I did, I started with 3 plates, did 25 reps, immediately pulled off 1 plate. So I had 2 plates left. I hit another 25 reps, pulled off another plate, and I did a single plate for 50 reps. I try to do them as constantly as possible. The reason I did this, it's not something I do all the time, but the reason I did this is because I really wanted to get a massive quad pump, and I really wanted to add a bunch of quad volume to this workout. So I just did this, I finished up, and I'm glad I did. You know, honestly, I've got my hands on my quads right now, I'm feeling them. They're sore to the touch. This
big volume set was a part of that. So I'm about to finish this up, and I know this video is almost done. So I'm gonna say goodbye real quick. This video's about to cut off. So I'll talk to you later. I really appreciate the watch. Drop me a comment if you can. See you later.